Dionysus is god of the beginning before the beginning. What makes beginnings special? Think of your first sip of wine from a really good bottle, opening page of a crime novel, start of an idea, tingle of falling in love. Beginnings have their own energy, ethics, tonality, color, greenish, bluish, purple, dewy and cool, almost transparent as a ripe grape. Tone of alterity, things just about to change, already looking different. Energy, headlong and heedless and shot like a beam. Ethics, fantastically selfish. He is a young god, mythologically obscure, always just arriving at some new place to disrupt the status quo, wearing the start of a smile. The Greeks called him foreign and staged his incursion into polis after polis in stories like the one in Euripides' BAKKHAI, a shocking play. Lecturing in Japan, Stephen Hawking was asked not to mention that the universe had a beginning and so likely an end, because it would affect the stock market. Speculation aside, we all need a prehistory. According to Freud, we do nothing but repeat it. Beginnings are special because most of them are fake. The new person you become with that first sip of wine was already there. Look at Pentheus twirling around in a dress, so pleased with his girl guys, he's almost in tears. Are we to believe this desire is new? Why was he keeping that dress in the back of his closet anyhow? Costume is flesh. Look at Dionysus, plucked prematurely from his doomed mother's womb and sewn up in the thigh of Zeus to be born again later. Life is a rehearsal for life. Here's a well-known secret about Dionysus. Despite all those legends of him as new god imported to Greece from the East, his name is already on Linear B tablets that date to 12th century BCE. Previousness is something a god can manage fairly well, time a fiction for him, but mortals less so. Look at those poor, passionate women who worship this god, the BAKKHAI, destroyers of livestock and local people, and Pentheus the king. They had a prior existence once. The herdsman describes them lying at peace in the mountains, calm as buttons on a shirt. This is the world before men. Then the posse arrives and violence begins. What does this tell us? The shock of the new will prepare its own unveiling in old and brutal ways. Dionysus does not explain or regret anything. He is pleased if he can cause you to perform despite your plan, despite your politics, despite your neuroses, despite even your Dionysian theories of self, something quite previous. The desire before the desire. The lick of beginning to know you don't know. If life is a stage, that is the show. Exit Dionysus.
Here I am, Dionysus. I am son of Zeus, born by a lightning bolt out of Semele. You know this story, the night Zeus split her open with fire. In order to come here, I changed my form, put on this suit of human presence. I want to visit the springs of Dirki, the river Ismanos. Look there. I see the tomb of my mother, thunderstruck Semele, and her ruined house still smoking with the live flame of Zeus. I'm glad my grandfather Cadmus named this place sacred. I'm glad he keeps it clean. I myself planted it all round with vines in the key of green. The story so far, I crossed Lydia, Phrygia, Bactria, Media, Arabia, and the whole coastland of Asia to come here, to this Greek city to make myself known. My rituals, my dances, my religion, my live wire self. I am something supernatural. Not exactly God, ghost, spirit, angel, principle, or element. There is no term for it in English. In Greek, they say daimon. Can we just use that? So I set all Asia dancing, and then I came here, first of all the cities of Greece. I came to thrill you, Thebes. Don't doubt I will. Here's what you'll need. Fawnskin, thyrsos, absolute submission. My mother's sisters failed to understand this. They've been going around saying Dionysus wasn't born of Zeus. Cadmus just made that up after Semele slept with a perfectly ordinary person. It was wrong of them to say such things. I have stung them from their homes. They are gone mad upon the mountains. The whole bursting female seed pod of Thebes is gone mad. I've put them in Dionysian uniform, and they sit beneath pine trees, staring at their own green hands. So they will learn. So Thebes must learn to call me son of Zeus and call me Diamond. Now Thebes has a new leader. Cadmus appointed him. He's Cadmus's grandson. Name is Pentheus. This man is against me. He does not acknowledge me in libation or prayer. But I am a god. I'll show him and all his Thebans. And I'll be on my way to another land in visible triumph. But if Thebes comes forth in anger to drive my Bacchic women from the mountains, I shall lead them as an army into battle. That's why I've changed to mortal form. How do I look? Convincingly human? Oh, dear women, my cadre, my sisterhood, my fellow travelers, you who left your distant lives to wander all the way from Lydia with me. Lift up your tambourines, bang loud your drums, surround Pentheus's house with noise, and let the city see you. I'll go to Mount Kithaeron and get them dancing there.
Enter BAKKHAI.
From Asia I come.
From Tamalis I hasten.
To this work that I love.
This love that I live.
Calling out, Bacchus!
Who is in the road?
Who is in the way?
Stay back, stand quiet. I shall sing Dionysus. I shall make the simplest sentence explode with his name.
Oh, blessed is he who.
Blessedly happy is he who knows the holy protocols, who makes his life pure.
Who joins his soul in congregation on the mountains of Bacchus.
Honoring the mother and the mysteries with his thyrsos, his ivy, his submission to the god.
Come, BAKKHAI, bring your god home.
Bring Bromios down to the mountains of Phrygia and to the wide dancing streets of Greece.
Bromius, the one whose mother shimmered into fire at the moment of his birth, when Zeus's lightning bolt blew her apart, and Zeus sewed the infant into his own thigh with golden stitches, secret and safe until the appointed time.
Then he was born a god, with horns on his head and snakes in his hair.
That's why the BAKKHAI like to play with wild things even now.
Oh, Thebes, garland yourself in all the green there is. Ivy green, olive green, fennel green.
Growing green, yearning green, wet sap green, new grape green.
Green of youth and green of branches, green of mint and green of marsh grass.
Green of tea leaves, oak and pine. Green of washed needles and early rain.
Green of weeds and green of oceans. Green of bottles, ferns, and apples.
Green of dawn-soaked dew and slender green of roots, green fresh out of pools.
Green slipped under fools, green of the green fuse.
Green of the honeyed muse, green of the rough caress of ritual.
Green undaunted by reason or delirium, green of jealous joy.
Green of the secret holy violence of the thyrsos. Green of the sacred iridescence of the dance.
And let all the land of Thebes dance with Dionysus leading, to the mountains, where the mob of women awaits.
They've forsaken their shuttles. They've left their looms.
They've dropped their aprons and taken up their stations on Dionysus Mountain.
He has stung them out of their minds.
Do you hear that pounding? Do you hear the kettle drum?
Quarry bands invented it to mingle with the sweet, shrill voice of the flute, and they gave it to the mother who gave it to the satyrs.
Who gave it to us? We dance to a drum beat, adoring our God.
He loves the drum.
He is sweet upon the mountain when he runs from the pack, when he drops to the ground, hunting goat-kill blood and raw flesh pleasure, longing for the mountains of home.
Bromios, leader of the dance. Eoi! His ground flows with milk, flows with wine, flows with nectar of bees. Like smoke of incense streaming aloft, his pine torch blazes.
He darts.
He runs.
He dances.
He touches them to fire if they lag, and rouses them with shouts if they wonder. And all the while his long hair streaming on the wind, and all the while his little voice pulsing into them. Run, BAKKHAI!
Run, BAKKHAI, you amazing golden creatures.
Sing, Dionysus, sing, glorying your God in the thunder of drums.
To the mountains!
To the mountains, Eoi!
Eoi!
Look, there she goes, lost in joy, like a colt from its mother, frisking free, the creature of Bacchos.
Enter Tiresias.
You at the gates! Call Cadmus out! Go on, tell him Tiresias is here. He knows why. We have an agreement, one old man with another, to try out this Dionysian business together. Fawnskin, thyrsus, garlands in the hair, the complete regalia.
Enter Cadmos from Pallas.
I knew it was you, my old friend. I heard your voice. Look, I've got my gear on too, the costume of the god. Now, the important thing is to promote Dionysus every way we can. He's my daughter's son, after all. So, where are we headed? I'm ready to dance or trance or toss our white heads or whatever comes next. You lead the way, Tiresias. You're the wise one. I'm merely enthusiastic. Isn't it fun to forget our old age?
Yes, well, what is it they say? You're as young as you feel.
We must go to the mountain. Should we call an Uber?
That doesn't sound very Dionysian.
Good point. Let's walk. We can lean on each other.
The god will guide us. It won't be hard.
We're the only ones in the city going.
The only ones who have any sense.
No more delay then. Take my hand.
Here we go, arm in arm.
I don't believe in despising the gods. A mere human myself.
And I don't believe in philosophizing about it. We know he's a daimon. We know there are certain traditions pertaining to that, traditions as old as time. Why analyze further? What wisdom is in it? Will they say I look silly, dancing around with ivy in my hair? Well, yes, but so what? Dionysus didn't specify his worshippers be young or old. He wants reverence from all.
You can't see this, Tiresias, but here's Pentheus coming along. He has a wild look. I wonder what's gotten into him.
Enter Pentheus.
I was out of the country, but I kept hearing rumors of trouble in our city, of women leaving home, of fake Bacchic revels deep in the mountains, of women gone crazy for someone they call Dionysus, whoever that is. They say diamond, followed by a nervous hush. There's a lot of wine involved and creeping off into corners with men. Meanwhile, they call themselves a prayer group. Obviously, it's just sex. I've put most of them in jail. A few escaped. Agave, my own mother, for example, is still at large. I've got the police on it. Soon have them all locked up. Put a stop to this Bacchic nonsense. But people are talking about a certain Lydian stranger hanging around too, a sort of magician, huckster, swoony type, long hair, bedroom eyes, cheeks like wine. He mingles with the young girls night and day, claiming to show them some sort of mystic thing, claiming this Dionysus is a son of God and was sewn up in the thigh of Zeus. Awful nonsense. The fact is, he was burnt to bits along with his mother because she named Zeus as her paramour. How about I investigate this guy, whoever he is? How about I curtail his mystic thing? Oh my stars, here's another wonder. Tiresias in fawnskins. And you. I am sorry, grandfather, but you look like a lampshade. Oh, take off that ivy. Was this your idea, Tiresias? Joining the Bacchic bandwagon in hopes of a few extra commissions? All that daimonic stuff. Right up your alley, isn't it? Lucky you're old and harmless, or I'd throw you in jail with the rest of them. Pair of duffers. Don't you smell something off? Women and wine. Toxic combination. Daimonic my foot.
Might be a good idea if it's not too much to bother.
Show more respect for your old grandfather.
Not to mention the gods.
You're bold and loud and glib, Pentheus. Should have been a lawyer, but you totally lack common sense. This new invented daimon you laugh at, take my word for it, he's not one to laugh at. He's going to be big. Here's my view. Two things we mortals need to make life livable. Demeter, on the one hand, grows all the food we eat on earth. She's the dry element. Dionysus, the wet element, gives us drink. He showed us how to press liquor from grapes. Wine is an escape from grief, a slip into sleep, a cool forgetting of the hot pains of day. What better cure for being human? And when we make libation to the gods, we pour the god of wine himself. It's how we pray. Yet this is the divinity you want to laugh at? Why? Because of some legend that Zeus sewed him up in his thigh with golden stitches? I'll tell you what that means. It's just a random homonym. Zeus' guilt over his dalliance with Semele was understood by simple folks as gilt-edged stitches. People do this kind of thing with stories all the time. They hear what they want to hear. It doesn't make the facts any less true. The facts are, this daimon is a prophet, and you should by no means slight him. Yes, Bacchic states of mind are laced with prophecy. When the god enters your body, you're suddenly speaking the future. He plays a vital part in warfare too. That shock of fear that runs through an army before battle. That shock is Dionysus. Or that flash across the peaks of Delphi, tossing like a great wild spark from crag to crag with pine torch in each hand. That's him. But you, Pentheus, put too much emphasis on forcing your way. Do you really think violence is the only way to influence people? Think again. Accept this god. Pour his wine. Dance his dances. Say yes. Dionysus does not compel women to go mad for sex. Their own natures determine that. Pure at heart is pure at life. But admit this, you love it when people throng your gates and call your name. He loves it too. He wants respect, that's all. So go ahead, ridicule Cadmus and me dressed up in her ivy and tossing our old white heads. We intend to dance for Dionysus. Yes, it's the right thing to do. And you must be out of your mind to go to war with a god like this.
Good speech, old man. You've kept your Apollonian poise and made the right noise for Dionysus, an important god.
Tiresias gives good advice, my son. Come in with us. Don't put yourself outside the law. You're overexcited, your thoughts are all over the place, but okay. Let's suppose for the moment this fellow is no god. Why not say he is anyway? It's a noble lie. Think what it does for the eminence of our family to call Semele the mother of a god. And don't forget, your poor cousin Actaeon ripped apart by his own hunting dogs. He prided himself he was better than Artemis at hunting. Watch out for pride. My dear boy, come with us, honor the god. Here, let me wreath your head with a bit of ivy.
Don't touch me. Go play your Bacchic burlesque somewhere else. Don't wipe it off on me. And as for Professor Tiresias here, your intellectual guide in this folly, I'll see he gets his due.
To his guard.
Go to Tiresias's little outpost and bulldoze it. Throw all his prophetic paraphernalia to the winds. That will get him. Then you go street to street, through the town, and track down this girl-faced stranger. Bring him to me. His stink is in our beds and on our women. I'll have him stoned to death. Bitter Theban aftertaste of his Dionysian dabbling.
Pentheus, I worry about you. I really do. You were always hot-headed. Now you're sounding unhinged. Cadmus, we better get along going. We should offer a special prayer to the god on behalf of this man, though he won't thank us. And on behalf of the city of Thebes, the god might do something radical otherwise. Come on, gather up your ivy. We'll keep each other upright, shall we? Would be a bit embarrassing to see the two old BAKKHAI go tumbling in the dust, end over appetite. But so be it. Dionysus is God.
Dionysus is God.
Our task is to serve him. Just be careful of that grandson, Cadmus. He'll bring remorse to your house. I'm not speaking prophetically, these are facts. One who speaks folly is a fool.
Exit Cadmus and Tiresias. Holiness is a word I love to hear.
It sounds like wings to me, wings brushing the world, gracing my life.
Pentheus has a harsh sound, a negative sound.
He's a negative person.
He's against Dionysus, against rejoicing.
Against laughter, against flutes.
Not to mention the transcendent gladness of grapes and wine, so beneficial to body, soul, and psyche's interior design.
I'm saying his tongue is unbridled.
His reasoning reckless. His end may be hot and hard.
A life of quiet discretion, still as a summer day, holds a house together.
Cleverness is not wisdom. Far off in the sky live the gods who never die, but they watch us.
They watch how far we press our limits. There is a morning star, there is an evening star. Don't press too far.
I dream of a perfectly clear afternoon on the island where Aphrodite sits counting her blessings beside the erotic sea.
I dream of rivers with 100 mouths and mountains where leaves turn over like silver fire.
Take me there, Dionysus. Oh, Timon, oh, Bacchus, take me somewhere ruled by the law of desire where we can dance you.
And dance you.
And never tire.
Our God loves festivity. He loves serenity. Whether you're high or low, or rich or simple, all the same. Dionysus will fill your soul with peace.
It's not about intellectual prowess. It's not about true and false. It's about pure release.
It's your life, night and day, free of grief. Dionysus' gift.
Say no and he will hate you. Choose this practice. Most people do. I too.
Enter guard.
Here we are, Pentheus. Mission accomplished. And here's your quarry. We hunted him down. You called him a wild beast, but we found him tame. Didn't panic or run for it. Didn't turn pale. Just held out his hands. In fact, he laughed, said, "Okay, tie me up," and stood very patiently while we put on the shackles. I was embarrassed. "Sorry, stranger," I said, "not my idea. Pentheus's orders." But here's something else. Those Bacchic women, the ones you arrested and locked up in jail, they've all gone free. Ran off to the mountains, skipping and dancing and calling the name of their god. The fetters simply fell off their feet. The door swung open. by no human agency. This fellow has come to Thebes full of miracles, hasn't he? Well, he's your problem now.
Release his hands. He's in my net. He won't escape. Well, stranger, you're not bad looking. Obvious why you appeal to women. That's your main demographic in Thebes, am I right? That long, flowing hair, I can see you're no wrestler. Indoor man, am I right? Like to keep your skin white, out of the daylight, soft to the touch. Whose touch is it you dream of in those long afternoons, those dim back bedrooms? But no, first, who are you? Where are you from?
It's easy. You've heard of the flowery hills of Tamalos, I'm sure.
Yes, I have, the hills around Sardis.
That's where I'm from, Lydia, my homeland.
And what about this mystery religion of yours? Where's that from?
Dionysus, son of Zeus.
You have some Zeus who plucks new gods out of the air?
Same Zeus who plucked one out of Semele, right here in Thebes.
Did he come to you as a dream in the night or in your waking hours?
My eyes were wide open. He teaches the mysteries personally.
What form do these mysteries take?
That's a secret, not for the uninitiated.
And for the initiated, do they do some good?
You cannot know that, but it is worth knowing.
Aren't you a shrewd manager of data, pricking my curiosity, am I right?
The mysteries are serious. They hate a trivializer.
You say you saw the god face to face. How did he look?
However he liked. I don't control that.
You're cagey. You keep deflecting my questions.
Good answers are wasted on a fool.
So are we the first place you brought your new diamond?
Oh no, people are dancing for Dionysus pretty much everywhere else.
Foreigners all lack common sense compared to Greece.
Well, there's more than one kind of sense. It's true they enjoy different customs.
And are your mysteries performed at night or in the day?
Mostly at night. Darkness is serious.
Yes, it is seriously corrupting for women.
Can't corruption be found in daylight too?
Oh, stop being clever. There's a penalty for that.
Stop being superficial. You slight the god.
I can't believe your arrogance, you casuistical Bacchic little show-off.
And there's a penalty for that? What? Scare me.
First thing would be a crew cut.
My hair is holy. I grew it for the god.
And hand over that stupid thyrsus.
Take it yourself. It belongs to Dionysus.
And I'll put you in jail.
The god will let me out.
Sure, whenever you call him, I suppose.
He's already here now.
Where? I don't see any god.
Right where I am. You don't see because you aren't serious.
2 guards.
Seize this man. He mocks me. He mocks thee.
I warn you, don't do it.
I'm the one who gives the orders here.
You don't know what your life is, nor what you're doing, nor who you are.
I am Pentheus, son of Agave, son of Echion.
That is the saddest name I've ever heard.
2 guard.
Go. Lock him in the stables. He can commune with the serious darkness in there. Teach the horses to dance. And these women of his, these cymbal bangers and drum thumpers, will sell into slavery or put to work at our looms.
I'm going. But you cannot make me suffer what I'm not destined to suffer. And for your insults, you will have to answer to Dionysus, whom you say does not exist. In imprisoning us, you wrong him.
Exeunt Dionysus, Pentheus, and guard into palace. Oh, dear King River of Thebes!
Lady River!
Virgin River.
Daughter of Achilles the river. Once upon a time, you welcomed to your waters the infant Dionysus, when Zeus translated him from fire into his own thigh and gave him to Thebes as Bacchus, born of the masculine womb.
So why do you repudiate me now?
Why do you turn away from my dances?
One day yet, by the clustering grace of the vine,
By the growing green delirium of the vine,
By the joyous blue blush of the vine, I swear you will come to care passionately for the god we call
Bacchus.
twice born,
Dithyrambus,
Bromios.
Eois,
Dionysus,
Such anger he shows.
That earthborn, snake-begotten Pentheus, son of Echion.
a monster without a face.
this is no human entity. He comes from giants and blood. He pits himself against gods.
and soon he will have me in his prison. I, who belong to Bromios.
Already my comrade is locked up in the dark. Do you see this, Dionysus?
Do you see how passionately your prophets struggle?
Lord, come down from Olympus, shake your thyrsus, and crush the hubris of this wrong-minded man.
Oh, Dionysus, where are you? Roving the mountains?
Lost in a dreamy afternoon on Mount Olympus, where Orpheus once taught the trees to walk and the animals to dance to his tune.
Oh, blessed Pyria, Dionysus reveres you. Dionysus is coming. He is not far to seek. Leading his Bacchae, river by river, he will cross the Axius, a speedy river.
He will cross the Lydius, a river whose waters, so I have heard, make the ground rich and the horses sleek.
From off stage.
Io, hear me. Hear my voice. O Bacchae, O Bacchae.
Who is this?
Where does this Dionysus voice come from?
Io, I call again. I, son of Semele, son of Zeus.
Io, master, master, come to us.
Bromius!
Bromius!
Spirit of earthquake, shake the floor of the world.
Soon Pentheus's house will be broken apart.
The god is all through the house. Worship him.
Yes, but oh, look, the stones are sliding off the roof.
Listen, Dionysus lifts his cry inside the house.
Light this blaze, make Pentheus's house a conflagration.
Hey, see that fire? Those flames surrounding Semele's tomb?
Throw yourselves to the ground, Bacchae. Our king is turning the house upside down.
Enter Dionysus.
Okay, ladies, up we get. No more crouching, no more sobbing. I guess you saw Bacchus topple Pentheus's house?
Oh, wild, great light, or your voice? Is it you?
What joy it is to see you!
I was so lonely.
Lost heart when you saw me go into the big dark interior?
Of course I did. You're my only shelter.
How did you escape?
Easily.
But he tied your hands with rope.
Just between you and me, I had a bit of fun with him and his ropes. He thought he tied me up, you see, but he hadn't laid a hand on me. He got hold of a bull that was stabled there. Poor creature trying to eat its dinner. That's where the ropes went. He wrapped that bull from stern to stern. Hard work. And he was panting and sweating and biting his lip. I sat by and watched quietly. It was just then that Bacchus shook the house and set up a flame on Semele's tomb. Pentheus panicked. Fancied his house was on fire, started running back and forth shouting orders about buckets and water, put every servant to work. Total waste of time. Then it suddenly struck him I might escape. He dropped his bucket, grabbed a sword, and raced inside where, as it seems to me, but this is just one man's opinion, Bromios fashioned a simulacrum of me. Pentheus leapt upon it, stabbing the air, slaughtering me. Then Bromios added injury to insult. He did bring down the house, dashed it, smashed it, disarticulated it to bits. So much for trying to put me in jail. The great warrior sank to the ground exhausted. Man against God never works. I made my exit peacefully. No idea what Pentheus is up to now. Oh, here comes someone. I bet it's him. What will he say, I wonder? No matter how hot he blows, I'll be my simple, smiling self. A wise man is a well-tempered man.
Enter Pentheus.
Ghastly day. That stranger escaped me, though I secured him with stout ropes. Here's the man. What's going on? How did you get yourself out here?
Take a breath, Pentheus. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
What about the ropes, the knots? I tied you up myself.
I believe I mentioned someone would release me.
Someone like who? You're always trying to sound so mysterious.
One who bestows grapes and vines and wines on humankind.
Ah, yes, that welcome contribution to society.
You don't approve?
Lock the doors! Bar the gates! Close the city down!
Why bother? Doors don't stop gods.
Stop being so wise. Where does it get you?
Can't do it. Wisdom is my nature. Where does it get me? Well, we'll see. But here comes a man you should listen to. He's down from the mountains with special news. I'll wait.
Enter herdsman.
Pentheus, king of Thebes, I've come from Mount Kithaeron, where the peaks are always white with snow.
Important news?
Those BAKKHAI, those hysterical women, I've seen them. The ones who went flying from their houses barefoot. I need to tell you the strange things they're doing. Beyond strange. Can I speak freely? I'm nervous of your quick temper, sir, your kingly sensitivity.
Say what you like, you're safe. It wouldn't be decent to blame a law-abiding man, would it? But the stranger your report of Bacchic doings, the more I'll punish that fellow who indoctrinated them into this whole dubious Dionysian business.
Well, so we're driving our cattle uphill to pasture. It was just at sunrise when I see 3 groups of those women, 3 circles. One with Atanaway, another surrounding Agave, your mother, a third with Eno, lying fast asleep. They were all so still. Some had leaned their backs against the pine trees. Some had pillows made of piles of leaves, calm as buttons on a shirt. You told us to look for drunkenness, wild music, wantoning through the woods. There was none of that. But you know, cattle are noisy, shuffling and mooing. Your mother starts awake, yells that yell of hers to rouse the BAKKHAI, and they spring straight up, rubbing the sleep from their eyes, and yet somehow instantly organized. I was impressed. Young women, old ones, girls unwed, they shook out their hair and fastened their fawn skins with snakes that slid up to lick their cheeks. Some new mothers who left their babies at home cradled wolf cubs or deers in their arms and suckled them. Others were wreathing their heads with ivy and oak and bryony. One took a thyrsos and struck a rock. Clear water gushed out. Another pierced the ground to make wine flow, gift of a god. And those who desired it scratched the earth and got white milk. While for many a thyrsos, sweet honey was dripping. If you'd been there, if you'd seen what I saw, you'd be offering prayers to this god you denounce. So we gathered together, we cowherds and shepherds, to discuss this bizarre going-ons. And up gets one of the drovers who knew how to talk. You mountain men, he addressed us. How about we go hunt down Agave, pluck Pentheus' mother from her Bacchic revels, and do a favor for the king? Seemed a good idea. We set ourselves in ambush there in the thickets, and at a certain moment the women began to whirl and stamp and call out, Iacchos, Bromius, son of Zeus, until the entire mountain streamed with sound and every animal was racing. No part of the place was not in motion. And as it happened, Agave came swerving past me. I leapt at her. She screamed, Oh, my running dogs. Oh, my swift hounds. Men are hunting us down. Follow me now. That thyrsos in your hand is a weapon. Use it. We fled. They would have torn us limb from limb. They did attack our herds. You could have seen a woman pull a calf to pieces as it bellowed alive in her bare hands. Others were ripping apart full-grown heifers. There were ribs and hooves scattered up and down. Chunks of flesh dripped from the pine trees, blood everywhere. Proud, angry bulls stumbled to the ground under the hands of the girls who clawed the meat off them quicker than you could wink your royal eye. Then, all of a sudden, they took off like a flock of birds to the fields below, along the river beneath Kithaeron. 2 villages there. The women fell on them like a ransacking army, tore the place to shreds, stole the children from the houses, and carried off all the plunder they could pile on their shoulders without dropping a thing. And you know, their hair was on fire, yet it didn't burn. Now, the villagers got angry, and here was a sight right terrible to see. From their sharpened weapons drew no blood at all, while those of the women, you know, a thyrsos can make quite a wound. So the men fled. Some god engineered the whole thing, is my guess. Anyway, the women went back up the hill where they started, to fountains made by their god. They washed their hands and let the snakes lick the blood from their cheeks. Whoever this Daimon is, sir, welcome him to Thebes. People say he is important. Extremely important. They say he gave the gift of wine to men. Why? Without wine, we've no freedom from pain. Without wine, there's no sex. Without sex, life isn't worth living.
Exit herdsman.
I fear speaking freely to the king. Still, it must be said, Dionysus is inferior to no god.
Bacchic insanity is catching like wildfire. What a disgrace. People watch us and laugh. It's no time to shrink back. Go to the gates of the city. Call out every man who can carry a shield, ride a horse, hurl a spear, or fit an arrow to a bowstring. We're going to make war on the BAKKHAI. It is beyond endurance to suffer all this at the hands of women.
You're the type of person who listens, yet you do not hear. You've used me badly, yet I warn you. Don't take up arms against a god. Stay quiet. Bromios will not endure you driving the BAKKHAI from his mountain.
Lecture me. You escaped prison. Be happy with that. Or shall I throw you back in jail?
I'd offer worship to this god rather than rage at him. Mortal against God.
Worship? Good idea. I'll worship a big bloody pile of Bacchic women.
No. No. In fact, they'll make you turn and run. These women with their homemade weapons, they will shame you.
Why am I entangled in this hopeless conversation? The fellow never stops talking.
Come on. There's still a way to make things right.
How? Submit to my inferiors?
I will bring the women here myself. No weapons.
This is some trick, some plan, some stratagem. I don't trust you.
Why not? My plan is simply to save you.
You've dreamed this up in collaboration with those women so they can keep carousing forever.
Well, in collaboration with a god, anyway.
Bring me my sword. I'll make you stop talking.
How about this? Would you like to see what the women are up to on that mountain?
Oh, I'd give anything for that.
You're suddenly avid. Can you say why?
Of course, it would pain me to see women crazy with drink.
But a pain mixed with pleasure, perhaps.
Exactly. I can sit quiet by a pine tree.
Hiding? But if you hide, they'll smell you out.
Good point. I'll stay in the open.
Then let's go. Are you ready?
Ready. Don't waste any more time.
First, you must put on women's clothes.
Why? Change myself to a woman?
If they see a man there, you're dead.
Another good point. You're sharp.
Dionysus taught me everything I know.
So, how do we go about this?
I'll come to the house, dress you myself.
Dress me as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too embarrassed.
Oh, lost your appetite? No more spying on Maenads?
What kind of women's dress did you have in mind?
Well, first, I'll give you long, flowing hair.
Then what? Jewelry?
Then a dress to your ankles and a binding for your hair.
Anything else?
A thyrsos, of course, and a fawn skin.
No, I can't do it. Dress as a woman? No.
Well, if you simply march up to the mountain and make war on them, you'll cause a bloodbath.
True. I need to reconnoiter first.
Now you're thinking. No point hunting trouble with trouble, is there?
But how shall I get through town unseen?
I know a back way.
The important thing is, those women must not laugh at me. Let's go inside. I'll decide what to do.
Fine, I'm ready. Whatever you choose.
Either make war on them or listen to you.
Exit Pentheus into palace.
Ladies, the man is in the net. He's on his way to the BAKKHAI. He'll pay the ultimate price. Oh, Dionysus, the rest is up to you. You're close to us now. You're very close. It's time to punish Pentheus. First, craze his brain. Send a scamper of madness into it. Otherwise, he'll never put on women's clothes. And given the way he threatened me, I'd like to see him made mock of, paraded through town in all his ridiculous female finery. So, I'll go rig him up, put on his dress. He'll wear that dress to Hades after his mother slaughters him with her own hands. And he will come to know Dionysus, son of Zeus, true and consummate God. God of the intensities of terror. God of the gentlest human peace.
Then shall I lift my throat to the dewy air.
Like a fawn, skylarking in the green joy of the meadow.
Runs free from the hunt and the hunter.
She leaps over the net as he cries up his dogs.
With storms in her feet, she sprints the plain, races the river.
Lies down to the shadows that deepen the trees.
Overjoyed at the sheer absence of men.
What is wisdom? What feels better than to hold your hand over the head of your enemy?
Who does not love this feeling?
It moves so slowly. The force of the gods.
Yet it is absolutely guaranteed to arrive, to punish human folly and the arrogance of a private theology.
Ingenious how a god can hide and then leap out on the unholy man.
To think or act outside the law is never right, but this is valid. This thing we call the daimonic.
Ancient, elemental, fixed in long custom, grown out of nature itself.
What is wisdom? What feels better than to bring your hand down on the head of your enemy?
Who does not love this feeling?
Happy is he who escapes the winter sea, finds a harbor, prevails over pain.
Still, one man will always outdo another in wealth or power.
And hopes are countless. They come on like waves, rising and falling.
Just be happy day to day. This I call blessed.
Enter Dionysus.
You, Pentheus, I'm talking to you. Still so keen on seeing sights you should not see? Still hungry for mischief? Come out and show me your Bacchic getup, your Maynard suit, your costume for spying on women.
Enter Pentheus.
You look like one of Cadmos's daughters.
No. I seem to see two suns and a double Thebes, each with all its 7 gates. And you look like a bull leading me in procession. You've got horns growing out of your head. Were you perhaps an animal all the time? You're certainly a bull now.
God is with us now. He's come round. He's on your side. You're seeing as you ought to see.
How do I look? Is this the way Eno stands? Or Agave, my mother?
I feel I'm seeing them in person. But here, this bit of hair is out of place. I had it tucked under, did I not?
I was tossing my head back and forth like a Maynard inside the house.
I'll redo it. I'm here to serve you. Hold still.
Oh, lovely. You redo it. I'm in your hands.
Your belt is loose. Your pleats uneven. The hem slipping down around your ankles.
Is it? Possibly on the right side, anyway. Over here, it hangs straight so far as I can see.
You'll think me your best friend, I'm sure, when you see how sober and sensible the BAKKHAI are. Not what you expect.
Do I take the thyrsus in my right hand? Or like this, to look really Bacchic?
Right hand, raise it and turn with your right foot. So glad you had a change of heart.
I'll be able to lift Mount Kithaeron on my bare shoulders. Bacchic women and all, am I right?
No problem. Your whole attitude before was unsound, but not anymore.
Should we take crowbars, or shall I just put my shoulder under the mountain and shove?
Be careful, though. You mustn't do damage to the temples of the nymphs, or the places where Pan plays his pipes.
Good point. Brute force is apt. Doesn't work with women anyhow. I'll hide in the pines.
You'll hide in the hiding place a man should have who comes to spy on the BAKKHAI.
You know, I can see them in my mind's eye. Little birds in the bracken, all tangled up in sex.
Well, that's your mission, right? Catch them at it. Unless you're caught first.
Take me right through the middle of the city. I am the only man bold enough to do this.
Yes, you alone bear this burden on behalf of Thebes. A contest awaits you, the contest of your destiny. Follow me. I am your guide and savior. Someone else will bring you home.
My mother.
You'll be conspicuous to all.
It's my hope.
You'll be carried aloft.
What a luxury.
In the arms of your mother.
Now you're spoiling me.
Indeed I am.
But I deserve it.
You are an amazing, strange man. And amazing, strange experiences await you. Your celebrity will reach high heaven. Open your arms, Agave. Open your arms, daughters of Cadmos. I am leading this young man to a great contest, to his ultimate performance. And who will win? I will win. Bromios and I. And as for the rest, soon enough obvious.
Exit Pentheus.
Run, you dogs of madness!
Run to the mountain where the daughters of Cadmus are dancing.
Sting them and drive them to hunt down that man.
Dressed up as a woman, he spies on women. His eye has a crazy glow.
First, his mother will spot him, ducking and dodging.
Hopping and hiding, sneaking and sniffing from cliff to crag.
And she'll call out to her maenads.
Who is this man come to our mountain to hunt us from peak to peak? Oh, BAKKHAI, who gave him birth? Surely no woman. His mother must be some lion, some gorgon.
Into the throat of the ungodly, unlawful,
unrighteous earthborn son of Echion.
Let justice sink her sword. His judgment is wrong, his anger chaotic, his arrogance out of control. He dispatches himself against you, Bacchos.
Against your mother, against your holy rites. He is a violent man.
But death will discipline him. Death takes no excuses.
To accept that we are mortal helps us live without pain.
Myself, I've no interest in wisdom. I hunt another quarry by day, by night. The great clear joy of living pure and reverently.
Rejecting injustice and honoring gods.
Into the throat of the ungodly, unlawful,
unrighteous earthborn son of Echion.
Let justice sink her sword.
Show yourself, Bacchos.
Be a bull.
Be a snake.
Be a lion.
Madfest.
Come with your little net and your fatal smile.
Your little smile and your fatal net.
Hunt down the hunter. Trip him and tangle him. Let him fall under a pack of maenads.
Enter servant.
This house was fortunate once. Founded by Cadmos, who sowed an earthborn crop from dragon seed. How I grieve for you. Though I am but a slave, still I grieve for you.
What is it? News of the BAKKHAI?
Pentheus is dead, the son of Echion.
Oh, Bromius, you are revealed to eye, mind, and judgment, a great god.
I beg your pardon? What are you saying? You women rejoice at my master's downfall?
You're foreign.
We sing a foreign song of joy.
No more cowering.
No more prison.
You think Thebes has no men left to govern you?
Dionysus, not Thebes, is my government.
Understood, ladies, but to gloat over others' misfortune is not decent.
How did he die? I want to know details.
He was an unjust man, a thoroughly unjust man.
We had left behind the outskirts of Thebes and the river Sopos, heading for Mount Kithaeron. It was Pentheus in front, me following, and a stranger who offered to act as our guide. We came to a grassy glen, walking silently, looking to see and not be seen. There was a hollow between two hills, crossed by streams and shaded by pine trees, where the maenads were sitting happily, working at little tasks. Some were rewinding a thyrsos with tendrils of ivy, others frisking like colts set free, and singing Bacchic songs back and forth. But Pentheus, the hapless man, couldn't quite see the women and said to our guide, "From where I stand, I can't make out these impostors, these maenads. But up on the bank, if I were to climb a tall pine, I could get a good view of all their obscene goings-on." And then I saw the stranger work a miracle. Seizing the top branch of a towering pine, he brought it down, down, down to the black ground, curved taut like a bow or a rim forced round a wheel. So did the stranger force that pine tree down to earth. No mortal could have done it. Then he sat Pentheus upon the branch and let the tree go straight up through his hands, gradually, gently, lest it unseat the rider. And up, the tree rose to the sky, straight up, with my master crouched on top. And now the maenads saw him more than he saw them. Still, he was not completely visible on his perch. But the stranger suddenly vanished, and a voice came out of the air. It was probably Dionysus shouting, Here he is, women, I bring you the man who mocks me and mocks my holy rites. Punish him. And as he said this, a column of fire shot between heaven and earth. Then silence fell. Silence. Through the wood and on the leaves, and every animal was silent. Could not hear a twitch. The BAKKHAI got to their feet and were peering around. They hadn't clearly recognized the voice. Again, it rang out. And now they knew his cry. Off they shot with the speed of doves. Agave, her sisters, all the BAKKHAI, racing over glen and stream and jagged rock, maddened by the breath of God. And when they saw my master sitting atop a pine tree, they climbed a facing hill and began pelting him with rocks. They hurled pine boughs like javelins or used the thyrsos as a spear. Yet they kept missing. Poor Pentheus was out of range, although absolutely helpless. Finally, they started ripping off branches of oak to use as crowbars and uproot the tree. Didn't work. Agave spoke, "Come, Maenads, stand round in a circle and grip the trunk of the tree. Up there's a wild animal we must capture, or he'll broadcast the secrets of our God." With that, countless hands took hold of the pine tree and tore it from the ground, and down, down, down he fell to the ground from his high seat, yelping and sobbing. Pentheus. He was so close to understanding his own doom. Agave, as priestess of the slaughter, launched herself first upon him. He pulled the headdress from his head in hopes that she, his poor luckless mother, would know him, would spare him. He touched her cheek and cried out, "Mother, it's me. I am the child you bore in the house of Echion. Pity me, mother. Do not murder your own child, whatever his mistakes." But she was foaming at the mouth, was rolling back her eyes, was out of her mind. Bacchos had possessed her. She did not even hear the boy. Seizing his left arm by the wrist, she planted her foot against his ribs and ripped the arm off at the shoulder. Not by her own strength, the god made it easy. Meanwhile, Ino was working away at the other side, stripping the meat from the bone, and out and away with the whole mob of BAKKHAI attacked. It was one float of hideous sound, him gasping and groaning, them shrieking their war cry. One carried off an arm, another a foot still in its shoe. His ribs were laid bare of flesh, and every woman drenched in blood, for they were playing ball with his body parts. So the corpse was lying all over the place, some by the rocks, some in the woods, hard to find. But the head, the terrible head, his mother picks up, and as if it were some mountain lion's, impales it on top of her thyrsos. And she's carrying it now, marching right down Kithaeron, leaving her sisters behind. Yes, she's on her way here. Exulting in that dark and bloody prize, and calling out, "Bacchos, my partner in the hunt, my comrade in the victory. Oh, what a victory!" The trophy in her hands is her own tears. Anyway, we'll get out of here before she arrives. To live and think and act within measure, reverencing the gods. This is a man's finest possession.
Exit servant.
We dance for Bacchos.
We dance for death.
Pentheus's death.
Born of a snake, dressed as a woman, he took up Thyrsos and followed a bull directly down to Hades, for the Thyrsos is certain death.
You BAKKHAI, you women of Thebes, your beautiful victory finishes in tears.
Your glorious game ends in lamentation. Your lovely hand streams with blood as it lifts the head of your own son.
But look, I see Agave running towards us. Her eyes are insane.
Give her a wild welcome, a Bacchic welcome.
Enter Agave, carrying the head of Pentheus.
Oh, BAKKHAI! Oh, women of Asia!
Why are you shouting?
We bring from the mountains a new cut tendril, a lovely bit of hunting.
I see, and I welcome you, dear comrade.
I caught him myself with my bare hands, cub of a wild mountain lion. Look!
Mountain? What mountain?
Kithaeron.
Kithaeron?
Slaughtered him.
Who struck the blow?
Me, my prize. Agave the Blessed is what they call me.
Who else was there?
Cadmos's daughters came upon the animal after me. Lucky hunting.
Lucky indeed.
Won't you share my feast?
Share it. Oh, my dear. Oh, pity.
What a fresh bloom he is. Just a kid, just a calf. Here, see the down on his cheek, the long, soft hair.
That long hair does give him an animal look.
Our Bacchus is wise, is he not? A wise hunter. How wisely he drove the Maenads upon this beast.
Oh, yes, he's a hunter.
Do you praise me?
Oh, yes, I praise you.
And soon the men of Thebes will...
Not to say Pentheus, your son,
will praise his mother, who caught this wild thing, this lion cub.
Extraordinary catch.
Extraordinary experience.
So you're happy?
I'm overjoyed. It was magnificent. The day, the hunt, the spectacle, the magnificent.
Show your prize to the people then. Show your catch, poor woman.
Oh, citizens of beautifully towered Thebes, come see my catch. We daughters of Cadmos hunted and caught this wild animal, not with javelins, not with nets, just the slender fingers of our own white hands. What are they worth now, your boasts, your useless weaponry? We took this beast barehanded. We tore it limb from limb. Where's my father, the old man? Let him approach. And Pentheus, my son, where is he? I want him to set a ladder against the house and nail this head to the roof beam. My trophy, my lion. I want it myself.
Enter Cadmos with servants and body of Pentheus.
Follow me, servants. Bring the thing here. The thing that was Pentheus, bring it in front of the house. I had to search for his body all over Kithaeron. On the rocks, in the woods, the parts were scattered, lost. I found them. I made a pile. It was hard to do that. Why did I go up there? Because I heard my daughter's monstrous act. I had already returned to the town with Tiresias, but I went back to the mountain. I carried my child away. Maenads killed him. I saw Ino and Autonoe up there, still ecstatic, raving in the oak trees. Oh, it was pitiful. And then someone told me of Agave on her way down here to Thebes dancing, delirious. And they were right. I'm looking at her now. It is no pretty sight.
Father, now you can boast you have the best daughters in the world. I mean, all of us, but especially me. I left my loom and weaving to go after bigger game, to hunt wild beasts with my bare hands, and I've got one here. Look, I brought this trophy for your house. Take it, Father. You can hang it up. Invite your friends, throw a banquet, show off my prowess, because you know you are a blessed man. A blessed man, Father. What a family of achievers we are.
Oh, grief without measure. I don't know how to look at you. You're poor, butchering hands. What a first-rate sacrifice you offer to the god. What a banquet do you have in mind? You wish to invite all of Thebes. You're inviting me too. Sorrow, your sorrow, my sorrow. Certainly, yes. He treats us with justice, but the god, he goes too far. Bromius, our destroyer. Bromius, our family.
Well, aren't you grumpy? Old age is like that, always scowling. Wish my son were more like me. Lucky in the hunt when he goes out after the game and the young men of Thebes. But all he cares about is making war on gods. He needs a bit of talking to, Father. Will someone call him out here so he can witness my good fortune?
Oh, pity. If you see what you've done, the pain will fall. Stay in this ignorance forever, and you'll be happy, but you won't know it.
What do you mean, unhappy? Is something wrong?
First, look up. Look at the sky.
Okay. Why?
Does it look normal, or is it changing?
It's brighter than before, sort of glowing.
And that fluttering inside you, you still feel that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm coming back into my mind somehow. My thoughts are moving, shifting, breaking up.
Can you hear me? Can you answer plainly?
I've forgotten what we were talking about.
Whose house did you go to when you were married?
Echion's. You gave me to Echion, one of the sown men, as they say.
What child did you bear to your husband there?
Pentheus.
And whose head is it that you have in your hands?
A lion's head, so the hunters told me.
Look at it now, just a moment. Look straight.
What am I seeing? What do I have in my hands?
Look. Understand.
I see unimaginable pain.
Does it look like the head of a lion now?
No. I'm holding the head of Pentheus.
Mourned by me before you knew who he was.
Who killed him? How did he come to be in my hands?
Truth is an unbearable thing, and its timing is bad.
Tell me, my heart is leaping out of me.
You killed him, you and your sisters.
Where? In this house? Some other place?
Where the dogs tore Actaeon apart long ago.
Why did my poor boy go to Mount Kithaeron?
He went to mock the god and your Bacchic rituals.
Me? What was I doing there?
Raving mad. The whole city went mad for Bacchus.
Dionysus destroyed us. I recognize it now.
He was outraged by your hubris. You denied he was a god.
Where is the dear body of my son, Father?
I gathered the pieces myself. It wasn't easy. Here.
You've fitted the limbs together so it looks decent.
See for yourself.
His body. His dear, dear body. This is my son. This is what I did. Come, old man, let us place the head and cover him and lay him properly in the grave. He deserves that. For I do not believe my son had any share in my folly.
But he was like you. He denied the God, and so has joined us all together to a single ruination. You himself, our home, and me. Never had a son myself, and now I see the fruit of your womb, woman, dying in the worst possible way, right before my eyes. You were the light of my house, child. As son of my daughter, you held it together. And what a terror to the city, no one dared insult me. When they saw your face, you'd make them pay. But now I'll be in exile, driven from home, from honor. Cadmus the Great, who sowed the Theban race and reaped fair harvest. Oh, loved one, I know you are still dead, but still, child, still, you count to me most beloved. Never again will you touch my face or fold into me saying, does someone slight you, old man? Does someone disrespect or vex you or make you sad? Tell me, I'll punish him. No, I am brokenhearted now, and you are lost to us. Your mother ruined, her sisters bereft. If anyone here despises the daimon, let him look on this boy's death and believe in the gods.
I feel your sorrow, Cadmus.
Your grandson's punishment was justified, yet agony for you.
Oh, Father, here is my life turned upside down.
Enter Dionysus.
I am the god triumphant. You squandered all your chance to worship me. That was unwise. You must leave this city and go among strangers. You are defiled and you insulted me. You claimed I was a mortal man. Now learn, murderous woman. Learn what kind of god I am. You will turn into a serpent, your wife into a savage snake. You and she, as the oracle foretells, will lead a barbarian army in the sacking of cities and the laying waste of shrines, then journey miserably home. But Ares will save you and translate you alive to the land of the blessed. I say these things not as the child of a mortal father, but as son of Zeus. Had you known how to live within measure, you'd be prospering now, and the son of Zeus, your ally.
Dionysus, hear our prayer. We did wrong.
You've learned too late, far too late.
Yes, yes. But your retaliation is too much.
I am a god, and you insulted me.
Gods should not resemble humans in their anger.
My father, Zeus, approved all this a long time ago.
It is decided, old man. Alas, we go into exile, into despair.
Exactly. Why then delay?
Exit Dionysus.
Oh, my child. Evil is where we are. You and your sisters and I. This is the worst. I'm to make my way as a stranger in strange lands. I'm to live as a snake and to lead an army against the altars and tombs of Greece. I will find no release from my misery, not even by sailing down to the river of death to peaceful oblivion.
Oh, Father, I'll go into exile. I'll never see you again.
Why wrap your arms around me, you poor child, like a young swan with its white-headed father?
Where shall I go? I have no home.
Child, I don't know. Your old father is not much help.
Farewell, my house. Farewell, my city. I am leaving you now for the absolute pain of exile.
Go.
I grieve for you, Father.
I grieve for you too, and for your sisters.
It is a terrible, terrible torment Lord Dionysus has brought against our house.
Terrible what you did to him. You took away the honor of his name in Thebes.
Farewell, my father.
Farewell, my poor dear daughter. But you are beyond faring well.
Lead me away to my sisters, to the place of our pitiful exile. May I never go near Kithaeron again, never set eyes on it, never see a Thyrsos, never remember a moment of this. Leave the Thyrsos to the BAKKHAI.
Many are the forms of the daimonic.
And many the surprises wrought by the gods.
What seemed likely did not happen.
But for the unexpected, a god found a way.
That's how this went today.